another interesting episode of Sparks of Motion. I am Peterside Rejoice Eneki. On today's episode of Sparks of Motion, we'll be looking at what contributed to the sparks in the Red Chamber. It's just an highlight. We promise not to take much of your time. What are those sparks? Today is on Sparks of Motion. We'll be taking a glossy look into the suspension of Senator Abdul Nengi over alleged 3.7 billion naira. It's not a doubt that insecurity has crept into the nation's capital, which called for concern. That is why the Senate met with the Minister of Federal Capital Territory behind closed doors. Let's peep at what is trending on Nuke's Radio Women Voice. We have a lot lined up for you. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. The Nigerian Senate on Tuesday went into a rowdy section over Senator Nengi's submission to an interview he granted on the 2024 alleged budget padding of over 3.7 trillion naira.
And it's no new thing. I have here a copy of the last three budget that was passed, 2021, 2022, 2023. All the details of these agencies I've mentioned are not contained in this document. So for my brother who have put up a consultant to look into this budget and have reported that 25 trillion was approved by the Senate, it's not been fair to the Senate.
Number one, I stand with due respect to say that what my big brother, distinguished Senator Abdul Nengi, who I respect so well, planned to do or set out to do was tantamount to a civilian coup, which has failed. And in doing this, he wanted to use the platform of Northern Senators Forum. God bless all those who have dissociated themselves as members of Northern Senators Forum.
President powers stopped as a proposer, as he proposed the budget. And I said, there is no way the National Assembly will add anything on the budget and it becomes padding. The tapes are there. I said the National Assemblies have powers, and you cannot call that powers padding. I was not aware of the addition. I was not even aware, as I'm seated here, of the full budget of the National Assembly. Mr. President, please, can you allow me to, Mr. President, perusing through the budget, first, we discover some bogus anomalies of repetition. We discovered some senatorial districts in this particular document. Some senatorial districts have up to 120 billion. And my senatorial district has just 2 billion.
The Senate hereby places distinguished Senator Abdul Nengi on suspension in respect of his vituperations, falsehood, and unverified report in the BBC interview, including other media or houses, and is therefore suspended for a period of 3 months from partaking in events in the Senate.
Spokesperson of the Senate, Senator Adeyemi Adaramadu, had an exclusive section with us. Here is what he has to say.
About party, it's about laying facts, it's about saying the truth, it's about to whom much is given, much is expected. When you are a leader, even political, even religious leader, you must be on the path of the truth always. So it's not about PDP and APC. It's not about it. Even if it is APC member of the National Assembly that did what Senator Nengi did, it will go the same way. If it is APGA, if it is Labour Party, it will go the same way. So those people that the senators that even spoke about against it, many of them were from the opposition. from PDP, from Labour. Many of them were from the opposition parties. So the northern senators that initially denounced it, many of them were from the opposition.
Moving on to security. What was the outcome of Wike's closed-door section meeting with the Senate?
I'm glad that they're all happy with what we have done and what we are going to be doing, and the suggestions which they have given to us, which I'm not going to disclose to members of the public. It's just a very, very interactive section. It's not correct. It's not correct. Even the senators agreed that security has quite improved in FCT. And let me also say, there's no part of this world where criminality has been abated. No. You have heard several times in America where people go to school and shoot students. So let people not have that impression that you cannot have one crime or the other. What we're trying to say, being able to limit or reduce the level of insecurity. But if anybody tells you that as society is concerned, you not have one form of criminality, that is not correct. And we must have to tell ourselves the simple truth. Also, most of the kidnappings to you here sometimes are state managed by people. There are some internal arrangements.
Let's peep out what is trending on Nuke's Radio Woman Voice.
There are factors militating the role of, the girl child in the society, and that limits her from, doing things that she can actually do because she is a woman. Yeah. So let us first talk about orientation. Mm-hmm. Why do we have that orientation that there are some certain roles limited to women and there are some certain roles that a man should just deserve because he is a man? Let's talk about that orientation.
Yeah, orientation is the foundation of every behavior.
Yeah.
Be it in gender roles or how we show up to life, the religion we end up choosing, and all those other things that define us as human beings. So you go to a home and there's a conversation around this part of the meat is for the boys. Or when you finish eating, they will say, leave it, your sister will come and clear it.
Yeah.
I think it's a generational thing. So going back some generations, women looked after the homestead. They did those things. The men went out to farm and hunt. But over time, you see women owning large farms, even in rural areas.
Yes.
So we haven't sat down to have these conversations again. So realities have changed, roles are shifting, and there is a need to consciously engage in those conversations. It starts from the home.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Sparks of Motion. Kindly click on our notification buttons to get what is trending in around the National Assembly. I am Peterside Rejoice Eneki, TNTV Network. Bye for now.